What's up? Okay, today's book, Black Magic, Religion and the African American Conjuring Tradition by Yvonne Chireau. Uh, as of now, Dr. Chireau teaches at Swarthmore College. And I want to read a testimonial from Albert J. Raboteau, uh, who I'll talk about why he's important in a moment. But Raboteau says, a marvelous text on an important dimension of African American religious culture. Anyone interested in African American religion will need to reckon seriously with Chireau's text on Conjure, Albert J. Raboteau, Princeton University. Raboteau is important because for most of the historiography of religion in America, what black people did wasn't considered religion. It was magic. It was primitive. It was fetish. It was uncivilized. Um, and so scholars didn't really take it seriously. And so Raboteau wrote one of the first significant books on black religion that took it seriously from slaves' perspectives. That book is Slave Religion, the Invisible Institution. A lot of scholars had said that, oh, black religion is a way of coping with slavery, or that it was even like a patriarchal familial system. And Raboteau was like, nah, the invisible institution part, there's a lot to that. Slaves would meet in hush harbors, and there's a subversive quality to it. It's not just acquiescence, it's also resistance. And so Raboteau's important because he's one of the first scholars to take black religion seriously, and Yvonne Chireau was one of his students at Princeton. And so her book is sort of an outflow of that, all right? You see, it's called Black Magic, Religion and the African American Conjuring Tradition. Okay, so there's that in the history of the study of religion, black people only recently have been taken seriously from a scholarly perspective. Another key tenet of religious studies is the questioning of categories. What is the difference between magic and religion? And this book speaks to that. I want to read from Dr. Chireau. In her introduction, she says, it's clear then that we're dealing with contested notions of belief. In contemporary scholarship, magic has acquired a plethora of associations, many negative, and others that appear to be virtually identical to religion in certain historical contexts. In the chapters that follow, I examine the ways that these ideas have interacted and separated in African American experience, and the ways that they have been appropriated, critiqued, and recreated both by practitioners and antagonists. Although magic is generally characterized as the antithesis of religion, it seems just as often to reflect the latter, to be its mirror image. When seen from different perspectives, the divisions sometimes break down, revealing the arbitrary nature of the categories. In the words of one writer, stated simply, magic is the religion of the other. All right, so that's important. So, black religion was always othered until the 20th century, until the 1970s, Raboteau's book. Okay, so just a little bit on the structure of the book. The first chapter considers the centrality of supernatural traditions such as conjure and hoodoo in the African American spiritual experience. That chapter is about how, I think it's called Our Religion and Superstition Was All Mixed Up. Black people enslaved folks aren't making a distinction between conjure, Christianity, supernaturalism. Everything's mixed up. They're not drawing distinctions. The second chapter discusses the potential sources of black American supernaturalism, beginning with the spiritual life of African slaves in early America and the traditions that in African societies had once encompassed all human relations and institutions. So those are about the sources, what black folks brought to America that would eventually involve and include Protestant Christianity. Chapters 3 and 4 examine the contours of African American folk tradition as exemplified in supernatural harming and healing practices. So chapter 3 is about harming traditions, putting hexes on folks, or even using roots to prevent harm from overseers and masters, to prevent violence. So conjure as a harming tradition. And chapter 4 is about the healing tradition. So, and that chapter is fascinating to me because, as we can tell from firsthand sources, a lot of times black folk could heal you better than the white doctors. So the the expertise of herbs, particularly from Africans and West Africans, was immense. That's documented. There's a demonstrated history of that. But black and white folks alike relied on black healers and their herbal knowledge. And then the fifth chapter sort of it examines more recent manifestations of conjure and hoodoo in black and white America, beginning with the public perceptions of African American supernaturalism in the last quarter of the 19th century and later into the 20th. So sort of brings us into up to date. And so let me just end by reading from Dr. Chireau again. She says, "Black magic does not purport to be a definitive history of African American magic or religion. Rather, it is a selective examination of key themes in African American religious history. It is my contribution to a conversation among students of black religion that provides a more nuanced view of religion and magic by tracing the elements of these two parallel and sometimes indistinguishable ideas. Ultimately, the effacing of these categories may lead to a richer understanding of the myriad dimensions of human spirituality. It is a reminder that as we look at African American religion, certain themes appear to be inescapable. Where there are preachers, there are also conjurers. Where there are conversions, there are dreams and visions. And where there is faith, there is and ever continues to be magic." Okay? And that's not just true of black religion. That the boundaries are blurry, that proper Protestant Christianity also involves magical, obscure, creepy rituals. That's not just true of black religion, that's true of Anglo-white Protestant Christianity too. And for that, you can see David Hall's World of Wonders, which is a great book, and John Butler's Awash in a Sea of Faith. And I'll make videos about those books too. But yes, great read. I found it instrumental in my scholarship, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Hope you read it. Blow up the comments if I missed anything, got anything wrong. Correct me down there. If you have questions, comments, clarifications, throw it down there too. Whole point of this is to foster a community and an environment in which we can share ideas and communicate and be respectful of one another and learn. All right, appreciate you. Bye.